Hi guys, welcome to this session. I am not sure if you all can see me or hear me. I'm really not sure if YouTube has taken me live. So if you all can see me or hear me, just tell me that okay, I'm live. Things are good. You can see my video and you can hear me. The audio is fine. Just give me a clarification, and then I think we will be good to go ahead. We have a student with us today, Harsha, who is a 97.99 percentile. You can call it as 98 percentile in CAT 2020, and Harsha has actually nailed SPJain's Institute of Management Studies. So he's here to kind of give you guys an advice. He will be sharing his journey with you, how he prepared, what sort of things he took care while he was preparing, and he will be also guiding you, as far as your CAT journey is going to be concerned. So Harsha, would love to welcome you, buddy. You can switch on your video and you can come in and we can begin the session.
Hi sir. Hi. Hi everyone. Hope everyone's safe and sound. Hi sir. As you said, my name is Harsha. I'm from Andhra Pradesh, but I currently live in Chennai. I gave the CAT last year. It was my second attempt at CAT. My first attempt did not go too well. I didn't prepare anything at all. Got 82. Thought I needed a good CAT preparation, good mentorship, a good place, and a good time period as well. I knew I needed at least 6 months of preparation for my exam. In the end, gave CAT last year, CAT 2020, and I got 97.99, which is approximately 98, as I had said. Sectional scores are around the same, 98, 97, and 95 in those three sections. So I didn't get any black call per se because of my low work experience and maybe other factors as well. So I got a call from SPJain, which is a score cum profile based call. So they evaluate my profile and my score. And my interview was held in the month of February, where I went through 2 rounds of interviews, and post which the results came out on the 23rd of March, which is when I got to know I was selected.
Okay, cool. Harsha, first of all, huge respect for you. Because I when I was having a chat with you before the session, he jumped from 82 percentile to 8 percentile. That's a huge jump. And I have been teaching from last couple of years, and I have seen students really scared of CAT because they believe that this year if I'm getting 80 or 85 percentile, 99, 98, 97, these are the big numbers for me. And we have this impact, sort of a mental impact on us, because we don't understand what fate is, 98 or 99, but the 98, 99 as a number looks very monster. So you nailed it. So congratulations on that front. I also have a student, Hardik, who scenario is like you only. Like he was 92 percentile in 2019. In 2020, he got 99.28. So there are people. The reason I'm giving you this example, guys, because there are students that do it, they nail it. So don't feel that it's something which is just not possible and you will not be able to work out. Definitely, he is my student. He's from batch 4, right?
Batch 4, yes.
Batch 4. Definitely 99% your efforts, 1% what we have done for you. But it takes a lot of hard work, dedication, determination to get into that club, and converting SPJain profile come score wala call which you had. Would you mind, Harsha, kindly just tell us about your academics, 10th, 12th, and graduation?
Yes, sir. So I've done my 10th, 12th, and UG in Chennai itself, because I currently have been staying here for quite a while now. My 10th and 12th were in CBSE boards, where I got 9.2 GPA in 10th, and I got 82 percentile in 12th. And then I joined SRM University here in Chennai, where I got a 92 percentile as my UG grade. And then from there, I joined KPMG in my placements. KPMG came on campus. So I interned with the firm for 6 months, and I worked for a period of 7 months as well before joining SP right now.
Perfect. And he's got into SPJain's marketing program, if I'm not wrong. So amazing. So congratulations on that front, first of all, Harsha. So you joined us in the month of June 2020, and then you hustled completely like June, July, August, September, October, November. So 6 months of hard work complete, and then probably we can say around about a month's hard work for your GDPR preparation. What I would love to understand is, like, when you started with CAT, what was there in your mind, buddy? Like, I got 82% earlier. What should be my target right now? So did you keep any dream B school in your mind, or you had any kind of think in your mind that, you know what, I'm going to go for 98, 99. Was that the thing? And last, one more thing is that, did that 82% ever haunt you?
So, sir, I don't think it really did, because 82 was without any preparation, as I had mentioned. So I knew that I had to give myself adequate time to nail the exam, or at least get a decent score, if not nail it. So I gave myself 6 months, actually 7 months of time, and I started in the month of June. So I knew this year was going to be the year, and I'd actually given a few mocks before the joining the C2C program in June, where my marks weren't that great. I was scoring around 60 to 70 percentile, and I knew that I needed adequate time, and I was ready for the journey. I mean, I knew there would be days where my scores would be very less. There'll be days where my scores are very high as well. But it's important to stay level-headed and just keep motoring along till the month of November. So I just gave my mocks throughout. I think I started in the month of June by just going through the basics. No mocks in the month of June, July, August. It was pretty much all basics, all theory. Just going through sums after some every day, every week. And 3 months was completely only basics. And only once September came, that's when I knew that I had to move from topics to sectionals to mocks. And that transition happened very seamlessly, as I was scoring well in my topics and sectionals before I actually went to my mocks. So I had confidence that the mocks would go well. And as I said, my mock scores are pretty variable. There were exams where I was scoring 60 percentile, exams where I was scoring 70 and even more, around 98, 99 as well. So I never really had a fixed number in mind. I think it's a sin to expect in CAT, because it's all relative grading. You never know how the D-Day could go. It's all about giving your best. And after giving a few mocks, and I think the last 5 mocks before my exam were pretty good. I was scoring in that 80 to 100 range, marks range, irrespective of the percentile. I knew that would fetch me a good score in the end. So in the end, I got 92 marks in slot 3, which was again within a good standard deviation of the marks I was scoring before. So I did myself proud with that score.
Oh, fabulous! When you started your preparation, we'll go section by section now. What was your approach towards quants predominantly?
So quants, sir, I think my quant skills are generally a bit strong. I think that's a section where I felt more confident in, and that's why I started off with quants. I think that's the first topic where I actually started off with, and it was helpful that C2C also started off with quants first. So I think that synchronization was there. So I started off again going through the basics. I think I went through that AAG strategy, and it worked wonders for me. Not only because you had said it, sir, but also because AAG was something which my strengths were.
Absolutely.
Even if you ask me a TSD question or time and work question today, I'll be flat. I won't know the answer, but at least I can know that I can give a good attempt solving any AAG question. So knowing that there were going to be 70% of the questions are going to come from AAG, I put that first and made sure that my basics were covered throughout. And then whatever came next happened. I mean, I didn't really bank on myself to score well in any other topic. So I made sure AAG was a complete set for me throughout the 6 months. So I think this was what happened in quants. So I think my grades also improved as I started focusing more on AAG, and my accuracy also improved that way.
Wow, nice. See, because I always say, Harsha, there are 2 types of students. Number one is who understands what faculty is saying and work on it. The other will just hear and they'll not do anything about it. So again, as I said, me as a faculty or mentor, I can tell you, but you executed that beautifully. So the entire credit goes to you. Absolutely. So that's that as far as the quants is concerned. To be very honest, I just want to be a little bit upfront and ask you, buddy, is that there are a lot of people, they have phobia about quants. They feel that I will not be able to do quants and blah blah blah. So let's just say you were good at quants, genuinely you were good at quants, so it actually helped you. But do you really think the way we look at quants for 2019 or 2020 level, is it really not that possible for somebody to even attempt 9 or 10 questions? Is it really that bad?
So I think I might be a bit biased here, sir, because of 2 things. One, I felt that it was a bit easy for me. And second, I think 2019 and 2020 quant were relatively easy, at least in my set. So I felt that it was doable. Even if I have a bad day, I'm going to score at least a good decent percentile. So I think one misconception is that after doing a few sums, people start to take up mocks right away. And because you always have that time pressure on you, and because you're dealing with numbers and you want to do it everything fast, you want to get the right answers. I think that's something which people take to their heart. They give mocks, they get low scores, and they get dejected. It's happened to me as well. I'm not going to lie. So there were exams which I gave in quants, and my quants scores are horrible. So I think more than doing mocks, I think it could be a very generic advice. But what I would say is go through the basics completely in and out, and then afterwards give mocks at a later point of time. Don't time yourself immediately. Give at least in the first 1 or 2 months of your preparation, say, fine, I'm giving myself 1 hour for a certain sum. Because later on, when you're going to attempt the question, it'll be fine. You'll do it within 1 or 2 minutes, and you'll actually catch whether that sum is actually for you or not. It's not as if you have to attempt every single question. There'll be a few questions where you feel, yeah, I'm confident I can nail it off. There'll be a few questions where you feel, no, it's fine, it's not for me. It's fine. You don't have to attempt 26 questions. So identify those questions which you feel you're strong at. As I said, for me, it was AAG. So do what it works for you, and just move on with that. And I'm sure after 2-3 months of practice, after doing set after set, after doing a topic tests and your sectionals, once your mocks come, I think you get a good score, and that will be a huge, massive confidence boost for you. Because once you reach a certain level, it's hard to come down. So you will reach that level only after doing repetitive sets after sets.
Perfect. How did you start with your Dlr preparation? And how did you kind of take it ahead?
There's only one word, sir. It's practice for DLRs, nothing else. You just have to practice set after set. And I did the 2015 sets, 2016 till 2019 repetitively. I did them not once, but twice or even thrice. And I had a certain way of going about sets. You may think, fine, a set is for Venn diagrams, let's say. So you think that you should solve it in a particular way, but there could be an alternate way which can get you the answer, not only with more accuracy, but with less time as well. So I think with C2C as well, it kind of helped me. The faculty made me realize that there are different ways to solve questions, and you can do it on your own. All of your ebooks or whatever way, however you're studying, you can do it by yourself as well. So, and one more thing is that if you feel that a set is not for you, move on quickly in the exams, not when you're practicing, but in your exams, because it takes a lot of time just to note down those parameters out of the question. Just to debug that question takes a lot of time. Right. So in the end, if you feel that it's not for you, you're just going to waste a lot of time. And the last thing I would like to say is that with DLR, you don't have to solve all 4 out of 4. If you feel 2 questions are fine, that's amazing. Go on with it and then move on to the next set as soon as possible. Because 1, you're losing out on time, and 2, you're losing out on marks. And I think a similar strategy to quant can be applied here, sir. Don't give yourself an hour for a set initially. Don't put any time constraint. That's why I'm very much saying that don't give mocks initially, because mocks come with time pressure. And with time pressure, you won't be able to succeed at a very early stage. So focus on giving yourself a lot of time, and then you can reduce the time interval later on. It's just practice, nothing else.
Right. So yeah, you get a set, look out for 2 questions. You can do 2 questions, just move it. Don't get stuck with it. That's what we did actually in the class. It's called as bucketing strategy. But yeah, one more thing, you all need to understand, whatever he's saying is an absolutely golden thing that he's actually telling you. Spend 1 bloody hour on 1 question. That's fine, but try to understand why you were not able to get it, and what was your approach, blah blah blah. Do not give mocks, because again, smart students do understand that mocks is nothing but it's just a replica of how good you are with certain things, your time management, blah blah blah. That comes a little bit later. But if you're really really good at understanding a question, which Harsha said rightly, that you need to spend time on it. And for that, mere khayal se, it's not only, I think IQ is not required. Definitely what is required is your patience. Take care of the patience, and you will be sorted. Because people get scared and afraid that, I'm not able to do this question in 10 minutes. How am I going to do it on a D-Day? But I think Harsha would also agree. This is what we have to understand. This is how it's going to be a transition. If you're not able to do that question in 15 minutes today, in 6 months, you should be aiming to do the same question. It's round about, let's say 3 to 4 minutes. And that is going to happen only if you're patient. It happened to you, Harsha, sometimes that you got stuck at a question and you went on hours and hours, man.
Yes, that happen in mocks as well, sir. Even in mocks, you only learn with practice. So that's why I keep on saying practice for DLR. There's no other remedy. You just have to practice. Nothing else.
Perfect. So that's the learning from from Harsha that you can pick it up, is that he was consistent enough, he was patient enough, and he gave his 100%. He went on to it, right? Perfect. We'll go to the last part of CAT section, which is VARC. What's your take on VARC? How did it start, and what?
Yes. So surprisingly, it was a twist of fortune for me. My VRC sectionals were the worst compared to all three sections in my mocks. But come D-Day, I got the highest mark in the VRC section. So I think that's completely again due to practice alone. Because you may see certain RCs will be of certain genres. You might feel comfortable with a few. You might not be comfortable with a few. But only after doing mocks after mocks, you get to realize. I think when it comes to RCs, again, as I've said, similar logic to DI, you don't have to attempt everything. If there's certain RC of 2 questions which you're comfortable with, go ahead. I think a few of you may know the difference between a fact-based question and inference-based question. Just go for the fact-based questions. If it's an inference-based question, it's fine if you don't do it.
Right.
If you're that confident, if you're super confident, your mocks are going amazingly well, then go ahead. It'll definitely fetch your marks, your score will increase. But then if you're someone who is a bit confused, just want to do well in the section, if you really want to do well, then just go with the fact-based questions. I'm sure the answer will be there in front of you. Just go ahead and solve it. And in case you want to come back after all later on at any point of time. So just focus on individual questions rather than sets as a whole. It's not as if you have to attempt all 4 questions similar to DLR. So I think that worked well because for me as well, as I said to sir, I got 9 questions. I attempted 9 and got 9 right out of 16. And those 9 were not 4, 4, and 1. They were 2 in one set, 2 in the other, 3 somewhere there and all. So it worked well. And with respect to VA, again, I think just practice as many questions as you can. I think that's the only way you can get through. Give mocks, give sectionals, and I think that will come well. The only thing which I would say with respect to VRC section is just time it well. Only have to give a certain number of mocks to realize this is the time I want for RC, this is the time I want for VA. So you can start with whatever feels more comfortable for you, but just make sure you have enough time to go through every question in the end, because you don't want to be missing out on an easy VA question after solving a lot of time on RCs. So I think time management is key, sir, in VRC.
Perfect. And I hope my strategies could help you, whatever we discuss in the classroom or YouTube. I hope it did help you. Looking forward for kind of a session from your side for our current students who are currently preparing for 2021. So you will be invited again for that kind of thing, wherein you will be kind of mentoring them. Now we'll take the couple of more questions before we close this up. Again, GDPR is, again, people feel that, oh, it's going to be really bad and something like that. So do you want to give a little bit idea like how it actually went, when you were there, and SPJain's interview predominantly, what things they asked you, and how was your entire experience?
Yes, sir. So I think with communication, I always felt confident about myself. So I think confidence is the major thing for yourself. If you feel confident before an interview, you can do well. Getting selected, rejected is something else, but I'm sure you'll come out of that interview feeling you did a good job if you feel confident before the interview. So as I said, each college has a different admission procedure. So I got called only from SPJain. I didn't get a call from any of the IIMs, the top 6, 7 IIMs. So then for that, I knew that there would be a group interview 1, which is mainly focused on the specialization I've chosen, which is marketing. And group interview 2 is basically a value-based interview session, which they'll ask you your opinions about certain things, and you just have to say what you feel. There's no right or wrong answer. So I took a few mock interviews from C2C as well. And I just took a few other mocks from other people who I knew who have converted other colleges, big colleges. And it was just about, I revised my marketing theory, which I had to do because my group interview 1 is about that. And then basic questions about myself, basic questions about what I feel about certain things, about my work ex. So these are all general topics. There wasn't anything which was asked out of the box. All were fairly simple, relatively simple questions for me. But I think one thing I would like to say is just be confident about yourself. Give a lot of mock PAs before you go. I think because you may feel that the way to answer a certain question is what you know, but there might be a different reality. Someone else who takes your PI, a senior or someone or a mentor, or anyone that could be, may tell you that, fine, it's a good answer, but you can put it in a different way. Or maybe you think what you're saying is fine, but maybe it won't be taken well or perceived well by the interviewer. So give as many mock PAs as possible. For me, it was particularly for SP. So then I had a different way of preparing. But for you guys, if you get IM calls, if you get SP calls, FMS, any other college for that matter of fact, prepare accordingly for that particular interview. I think that will help put you in good stead.
Right. Awesome. How many mocks did you give? So I believe apart from giving C2C mocks, right? You might have taken another mocks from different coaching also. So combine everything. How many mocks did you give? Number 1, that's A. B, what was your lowest score in the mocks? And C is I want to understand what, according to you, is a good number of mocks that one should be giving before appearing for CAT.
Yes, so I had taken mocks from C2C and XYZ Institute. So there were only two institutes which I've taken mocks from. C2C gave me 25 mocks, which I've taken, and
That's only for CAT.
Yes, another institute had given me around 10 to 15 mocks. So I took around 35 in total. It was not a dream for me to take 35. I didn't go into my preparation thinking I should take 35 mocks. I just felt that whenever I feel confident of taking a mock, I should. You're just wasting 2 hours of your time if you're not confident about taking a mock. And not only are you wasting time, but you're wasting your energy. And more importantly, you're getting into a negative mindset. Because if you're not giving a mock with a good mindset, there's no use. You're going to get a low score, you're going to get a low percentile, and it's just going to play on your mind for the next mock as well, subsequent mocks. So I gave 35. It depends person to person, because I know someone in SP who had just given 2 mocks and he got through. So it depends person to person. It depends on how you do. If your initial mocks are pretty bad, if you feel you're getting a low score, just keep doing it. Don't time yourself saying that fine, I need 1 mock, 2 mocks per week. Just make sure that you feel comfortable and give adequate amount of mocks. So one thing I've done with mocks or preparation is I worked in backwards order. So I gave myself 6 months from November backwards. So with mocks as well, I told myself in 3 to 4 mocks in November max at the ending, and then let's do a few mocks before. So just make sure you're taking adequate amount of mocks for yourself, and always go into the exam in a good frame of mind. So by the time November comes, just make sure that you're scoring well. Plan accordingly based on that, depending on how much you're scoring initially.
Okay, nice, pretty sensible, pretty smart. So guys, I mean, you speak to any topper, you speak to anybody, who has nailed CAT, who has got into good B schools, they will tell you these kind of things, which is like realistic approach. Yeah, you take mocks to understand where do you stand. You cannot, I mean, people take mocks because they just want to see their score moving up. I mean, they feel that, I'm taking this mock, so I want to see my score moving up, but it doesn't work like that. But again, you need to practice. He gave 30-35 mocks. That's a good number. And okay, so that's the part of giving mock, Harsha. How much time you spent on analyzing them? Did you spend the same amount of time, like 2 hours, or like it was more than that?
So to be very frank, I'm not someone who likes to analyze a lot. So I like to give the exam and then focus on the next. But only later on did I realize that it's important to analyze. So initially, I just didn't have the patience to analyze initially in my first 5-10 mocks. So after I used to give the mock, I used to go through it for 30 minutes, see what are the questions I got wrong. I didn't see the questions I got right. I just saw the questions I got wrong. And I thought, fine, if this question comes again, either I leave it or I tackle it in a different way. But only after giving 15-20 mocks, when my marks were decent, not too high, but when they were decent, I realized that I have the potential to score more, which is when I started analyzing mocks better. So for a 2-hour exam, I wouldn't say I used to spend 3 hours, 4 hours, or 1 hour. It depends on the questions I get right or wrong, but I just make sure I go through everything. It doesn't matter if it takes 1 hour or 4 hours. It depends on you as a person. If you are able to grasp the solution of a certain problem quickly, then it might take you less time. If it's the opposite, then it might take you more time. But just make sure you go through all the questions, the right questions as well, because there might be a certain question from a topic which you've got right in mock 1, but it goes wrong in mock 2. It could be because of luck, bad luck, or just could be because of any other reason. So go through the right questions as well. Make a note of it so that you know where your strong areas and weak areas lie. So the first 10 mocks which you should give, just to analyze where you lie. Don't look at the percentiles, don't look at the scores. Just see what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. And I think after mock number 10, your scores will gradually increase. So first mocks, just give it off. And then afterwards, I think you'll realize where you stand and how many mocks you have to give.
Harsha, did you ever think of these things that, I'll be doing like 9 questions and I'll be getting this much percentile, or I'll be probably, doing 10 questions or 8 questions? Like, was it ever your strategy, or like you just decided that, whatever is there, I'm just going to nail it? What was your attitude towards it?
So it was there initially before I started my preparation, because I think you set yourself certain benchmarks. So going by CAT 2019 data, which I had given 150 marks, was around 98. So I was like 98 or 150 to which 98. For 150, how many questions do I need? So if I attempt these much, I'm going to get these many anyways. That was my thought. But only when you give tests which different difficulty levels, you realize that for some mocks, even 150 might not be enough for 98.
Exactly.
But then for some, 150 might be around 100, and it's very hard to get that 150. So don't have that preconceived notion within you saying that you have to give you have to get these many questions right or these many attempts. Just make sure you have that minimal attempt. I'm not going to say attempt 0, 1 and come out. But then just make sure that you know what you're attempting. Give it a first shot. If you're 100% sure, mark it. And if you have time later on, especially in mocks, I'm saying if you have time later on, come back, revisit those questions. If you feel it's a good risk, if it's a calculative risk, then go ahead. Because it worked for me as well, personally. I'm speaking on a personal experience. It worked for me in VRC especially. But if you feel that it's just you don't know what to keep and you just have to put it for the sake of keeping an answer, then it's not going to work. So unless you have an extraordinary luck on that particular day. So yeah, don't have that in mind. Just make sure that you have a clear mind before going to the exam, because you get to gauge the level of difficulty only while seeing the paper. You don't get to know that beforehand. So yeah, don't do that. It'll be fatal later on.
Cool. Last question. Harsha, when you were preparing for this exam, CAT exam, June, July, August, September, October, November, I'm very sure you might have gone through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of emotional problems, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I'm very sure, like, now everything feels worth all the efforts and all this stuff. How did you keep yourself motivated? Like, how you were, like, so dedicated towards it? What was your funder? So that the students can also understand the same thing.
So the moment I got 82 in the previous year, I knew I could do better. So it wasn't as if I was pushing myself drastically. I knew that if I would prepare for a certain amount of time, I could. I had that belief in myself before my preparation had started. So that's why, as you said, there were a few lows. I think there were a few mocks. Yeah, you had asked me for my ranges. There were a few mocks I got 40, 50 percentile as well in XYZ test series. But then in that same test series, I used to get 98, 99 plus. And in the end, I got 97.xx. So you have that variation is there. The standard deviation is huge. So in the end, it's all about just focusing that in the end on D-Day, you can't control much. It's only a preparation which you put in. So just the questions which you have got wrong, go through it as I had mentioned. Just give yourself enough time. I think anxiety is something which happens for all of us. It happened for me as well. You have 5 months to CAT. It's 5 months. It's a big number, 5 months. To keep yourself motivated for 5 months is a big thing. So take breaks in between. Plan yourself accordingly. Don't get burnt out by September, October, because that happened to me as well. I used to study continuously and then I felt burnt out by September. I was like, no, I cannot continue my preparation in the same manner I've done for these many months. So just take adequate breaks, make sure you're there, and just have that motivation. I just want to tell everyone who watches later on that don't have that imposter syndrome that I'm at 60 today, I cannot reach 99. It doesn't work that way. Right. Almost half the people who get 98 plus are people who have failed initially. So it's just hard work, motivation, perseverance. That's it. Nothing else can help you. It's just that belief in yourself. You can prepare all day, but if you don't have that self-belief in you that you're going to do well, then it doesn't make sense to prepare. I was like you. That's why I'm saying on a personal experience. My scores are very bad, pathetic. Only later on, I understood how it was. So I really hope things work well for all of you.
They will definitely, yeah. When students like you come up and share your strategies, because I'm very sure, Harsha, last year when you were on the other side of the table, you might have watched a lot of videos the way we have done it. Like last year also, बहुत सारे हमने interview sessions कराए थे. So you become smarter when you are the other side of the table.
Yes.
So I'm sure these things will help people, and I'm happy that you were my students and my strategies could help you, and now you are in SPJain, it's top 10 beach school in the country now, and we'll stay connected, and I would love to have you for a couple of mentorship sessions for these kids so that they will not be doing those mistakes which they might on the D-Day or for their CAT preparation. So guys, wish him all the best. He's our kid, he's apna C2C ka bacha. Harsha, thank you so very much for giving me these 30 minutes of yours. Wish you all the very best, and may God bless you, and may you get the best placement from SPJain. Yeah, I think your parents are proud of you, man. So
good luck, everyone. Wish you guys all the best. Keep hustling. Don't give up. Anxiety might be there in between, but yeah, never give up. Once the D-Day comes in, once it gets over, I'm pretty sure you'll be happy if you put in the effort today.
Thank you so much, buddy. Thanks a lot. Wish you all the very best, and I'll see you in C2C very soon.
Thank you.
Take care, man. Bye-bye.